late fall and it starts getting cold, and see all the leaves floating down the river, and the salmon cycle's coming to an end. And when the salmon start spawning, they're shallow and those tail outs with their backs out of the water. It's really cool to see, and then still see the steelhead, farther upstream where they're in control, and they're still the top dogs, staying away from those salmon that are, battling for the spawning grounds. When I go fishing, I love to be fishing with a friend. For me, a huge part of what I take away from a day of fishing is the social aspect and the fellowship and having a good time with a good friend. None of us get as many fishing days as we'd like to have. So every fishing day I do get, I want to make the most of it, and with the people that I want to be spending time with. And that's not just for the enjoyment of the overall experience, it's also just be safe out there. I mean, when you're really, deep in the backcountry exploring, it's dangerous out there. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, those steep canyons, swift water, logs, you name it. It's also nice to have somebody there just in case you get that rare opportunity when you spot a fish, and have your buddy there kind of calling out the shot and helping you present the fly to that fish. Steelhead are incredibly difficult to catch. It's possibly the hardest fly fishing there is. And really, that's what makes it so cool, because you have to be okay with not catching fish. It's physically demanding, standing in the heavy current, navigating over the big slippery rocks. You're constantly moving every cast, you're stepping through the runs, you're moving around, you're hiking up to get to that next piece of water. You're hiking because you don't know what's around that next bend, and it could be that piece of water you're really looking for. Can't expect to catch steelhead. When you go fishing for steelhead, you go on a whole trip, but let alone just a day expect to go catch a fish. It's hard to have that expectation. You gotta just be okay going fishing, enjoying your time on the water, and just enjoying it all. And if you're lucky, you might have an encounter. There's nothing like the tight line grab. When you're standing in the river, and usually it happens when you most expect it or when you least expect it, but when that line comes tight, there's nothing like it. Your heart stops, and there's nothing else in the world that matters but what's on the end of that line. When you're in the river, you're a part of it, and you're sending that fly out there, and your fly's probing through all the water and the depth and across the current, swinging, and you're covering it, and you're searching for that one fish that may or may not be out there. And you're just hoping he is out there, and you're hoping he feels like coming after that fly. When that line comes tight and you feel that grab, it's just pure magic. all you can do to stay tight to it and bring it in, because you want nothing more than to just share just a moment with that fish and maybe get a glimpse into what it's seen. You know, that fish has traveled halfway around the world to come back there and meet you at that very moment. Every time that I hold a steelhead in my hands, I really appreciate what that fish has been through, and it's really something that I can't comprehend, you know, but I get a glimpse into it every time I touch one of those steelhead. We did a lot of hiking. we covered some river miles. Heavy rain came in that steep canyon. It really brought the river up fast. We didn't really think we had a chance at catching any fish once that water started coming up, and we're seeing all the leaves drifting downstream. But Jacob was up on the cliff, you know, down below the tail out. I was working my way through that pool, and I made that long cast and just started to feel that swing pick up speed as that current was really accelerating out through the tail out. And that's a fish, Todd. That's a fish. teamwork aspect of fishing is incredibly invaluable. You're out there in the elements and it can be dangerous. So it's good to have somebody who has your back and is there to help out. Couldn't do it without somebody there helping you. There are thousands of streams in the Pacific Northwest that have wild steelhead in them. Find that spot that has no footprints, that hasn't been seen and hasn't been touched, and those fish are rested, and you'll find steelhead if you get out there, but you're going to have to work for them. They don't come easy. You get out and you're up in that completely new experience in that new place with a good friend. It gives you that feeling like you're a kid again and that sense of discovery. There's nothing else like it.